All right, welcome everybody to the Patient and Family Partnership Hub meeting for LA County Department of Health Services. A couple of Zoom features aside from interpretation. We have the chat is always open for you all. You can ask questions or share comments in the chat at any time. And you can, we do have live transcript. I have to turn that on. Oops. A live transcript available. If you need that, it is turned on. It's a CC at the bottom of your screen. Will show you the live transcript. And then if you have any questions or would like to contribute to the discussions, you can raise your hand by clicking the reactions button and the raise hand button, and or use the chat. We are recording, and like I said, we do have live transcript available. And the recording is, if you ever want to go back and watch a hub meeting, if you missed something, or if you'd like to revisit a discussion, you're more than welcome to do so by watching the recordings. They go out in follow-up. And this is our agenda for today. It's a little bit different than what we sent out last week, but we will do some introductions. We'll have a discussion about communications in ICU. And then we do have an opportunity for you all in LA County, if you have lived experience within an ICU, to talk about communication there. So we'll get into that a little bit later in the meeting. And I will pass it over to Mike.
Thank you, Laura. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Patient Family Partnership Hub Community Conversation. Thank you again for taking time from your day and joining us. Please know that we appreciate and value your time tremendously, and that you are helping shape healthcare services for all of our LA County community. Welcome again, everyone. Bienvenidos a todos. In a minute, we'll do introductions. In addition to our PFCC partners, joining us today is Isaac, who will be helping us today by simultaneous translating our conversation in Spanish, and vice versa. We'll be helping our Spanish-speaking patient family advisors join in our conversation. My name is Miguel Renteria. I go by Mike. I'm an improvement advisor for DHS. My work evolves on patient experience, as well as supporting our culture of patient-family engagement throughout our health system. Our mission is to advance the health of our patients and our communities by providing extraordinary care. Our goals range from transforming our system to provide cost-effective care of the whole patient across the continuum, optimize clinical quality and patient experience, to have a high-quality or a high-performing workforce, and ensure financial viability in support of our vision. Today, we're moving towards our mission by advancing on our strategic goal of providing high-quality care and patient experience through engaging your voice to help us in our work. Your voice, your views, your insights are incredibly important to our work. So thank you again for taking time off your day and joining us here this afternoon. Next slide, please.
Right. Thank you, Mike. And like I said, I'm Laura Jackson. The Director of Community at PFCC Partners. And we are partnering with LA County to bring you this Patient Family Partnership Hub. Our mission at PFCC Partners is to center the inclusive human experience of health, reinvent through radical collaboration, and be a catalyst for system transformation. Our vision is a health system transformed, one that works with people and through communities as a partner in their well-being. And we do that through our values of equity, inclusion, diversity, collaboration, and being solution-focused. All right, we'll do some introductions. So let us know your name, where you're calling in from, and what is your favorite summer activity. So I can start. I'm, like I said, Laura Jackson, and I am calling in from Eugene, Oregon, although our offices are down in Long Beach. My favorite summer activity is anything that has to do with the water. That's either pool, beach, river. If I can jump in it, I'll be there. Let's go to Maria.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. Yes, my name is Maria, and I would like to go to the beach when it's hot in summer. I don't like to get into the water, but I like to join the beach.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. How about Ray?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ray Pizarro. I'm calling from San Pedro. And my favorite summer activity would be grilling at the park and enjoying some good shade, good food, and music, and just let the hours go by without a care in the world.
That sounds pretty amazing. Thank you, Ray. Bariana, we are just doing some introductions. If you could let us know where you're calling in from and what's your favorite summer activity. You're muted if you're speaking, Bariana. Bernia, I'm so sorry. I read it wrong. You're also more than welcome to add your introductions into the chat. I will let you do that unless you get your audio figured out, but yeah, you're welcome to add to the chat. Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Galley. I'm calling in from up north in Sacramento, California, and I'm with Laura and Maria. I'm anything to do with water, and probably my favorite summer activity is just playing silly games with my son in the pool, because he loves it when I actually get my hair wet, because it doesn't happen that often.
I remember that as a kid trying to get my mom to go underwater. I guess it's a multi-generational thing. Thank you, Lindsay. Maria Eric, who just joined us. We're doing introductions. If you'd like to tell us where you're calling in from and what's your favorite summer activity.
Oh, okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm calling from Pasadena, from Independent Living Center. And I'm public health outreach coordinator, and my favorite summer sport is swimming.
Nice. Well, yep. Seems to be a theme. Thank you, Maria.
You are welcome. Thank you, Laura.
And Michelle, I saw you just joined us. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Good to see you. Let us know where you're calling in from and what's your favorite summer activity.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and anything that involves soaking up the sun, walking, just daydreaming, sitting somewhere, just daydreaming in the sun, that type of thing, just relaxing.
Well, that sounds nice. Thank you, Michelle. It looks like Bernia did add their introduction in the chat. They like to play on the beach and in the park. Thank you. Lucero.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lucero, and I am calling from Long Beach. And my favorite summer activity, I'm going to join in with everyone else and say the beach. But just like Maria said earlier, I do not get in the water, but I really, not a swimmer, but I love going to the beach.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucero. And Olivia.
Hola, mi nombre es Olivia.
Hi, my name is Olivia. I'm calling South Central, Los Angeles, and my activity is go out with the family and go to the parks, watery parks, splash water, watery parks. Yes.
That sounds like fun too. Thank you, Olivia. And Mike, what's your favorite summer activity?
Thank you, Laura. Great question. I think my favorite summer activity involves anything with a cookout, barbecuing, cookout, anywhere under some shade, like Ray mentioned, is always a good thing. So yeah, no, but happy to hear everybody has the beach vibes going. Awesome.
Yeah, I think we've got beach, water, barbecue going on, is what it sounds like. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'll go ahead and move us forward to our opportunity that we have for you all. So this is the an ICU, intensive care unit, communication research community. So we are partnering at PFCC Partners. We're partnering with LA County Department of Health Services and Kaiser Permanente to create a research community in LA, so that we can better understand effective communication in the ICU. And we know that there's been a lot going on in the ICU worlds in the last few years. So we want to learn from each other about the gaps in communication within the ICU can be between physicians or physicians and patients, nurses, anybody within the intensive care unit. We want to better that communication. So we're looking for patient and family partners just like you all who have experience within an intensive care unit. That could be either as a patient or as a caregiver for someone who is in the ICU. So, and we want the perspective of diverse patients and family caregivers. We think that's essential to improving communication in the ICU. And just a couple of I guess logistics about this is the research community will be meeting 4 times in the next 18 months, 3 virtually and 1 in person in LA. So we're looking for, again, those patient family partners who have ICU experience within the LA County area. If you are interested, I'm going to put a link to the to an interest survey in the chat here in just a moment. And we will also have a Spanish interpreter for the research community. So those of you who speak Spanish are more than welcome to join us and be able to participate fully in the research community. So, sorry, my computer's a little slow today. I will add the interest form. We will talk a little bit more about it, but I'll add the interest form in there now for you so that you can check it out. Oh. All right, so that's in there for you. And we just have a couple of reasons of why you can participate as a research community member, or why you want to participate as a research community member. So you'll be sharing your experiences and that will help all the stakeholders. So that's stakeholders by stakeholders, we mean everyone within the research community. So we'll have physicians, nurses, we'll have patient family partners just like you, administrators, and hospital staff. So you'll be sharing your experiences so that everyone can gain better perspectives on those challenges encountered in the intensive care unit. And this is also an opportunity to represent the concerns you have about your experience as a patient or, again, caregiver, family member. And that can improve future patient experiences and job satisfaction and quality of care. You'll also learn from those other perspectives from the, like I said, physicians, administrators, and that will equip you to help make difficult decisions in the ICU. And then sharing your perspectives is the best way to make sure that the research that is conducted reflects the needs of the healthcare community. We want to make sure that we're hearing from everybody within the healthcare community for this project. So we will be, that does include patients and families and caregivers. So again, the interest form is in the chat for you all to check out. Do we have any questions about the opportunity so far? Nope. All righty. I'll go ahead and move on. So we did want to talk a little bit about communication within an intensive care unit. So we did want to hear your experiences, whether or not you join the research community. We'd love to have you join us. And we also we wanted to hear about your experiences so that we could better understand the gaps within communication in ICU. So we will go ahead and head on into a discussion here. I would like to know if you have experience in an ICU, again, either as a patient or a caregiver, how would you describe your experience communicating with your care team? And your care team can be anybody from your doctors, the nurses, your caregivers, your family. How would you describe that experience? Go ahead, Ray.
Yes, for myself, it was a bit scary, not having any control. And the communication piece was really traumatizing for me. Seems like surviving the actual surgery was one thing. And then as I was in ICU, I felt like I was still fighting for my life to survive the ICU piece. My injury was a cervical injury. And as I was coming in and out of consciousness with all the tubes and a trach, a breathing tube in my neck, I wasn't able to communicate effectively with the nurses that were coming in when I was coming out of, when I was coming to, I guess. And when I do recall waking up and not, and something getting stuck in my breathing tube. And I would start to panic because I would start to gasp for breath and there was a blockage. And my blood pressure was shooting up. I felt like I was drowning because I couldn't breathe. And I remember the nurse would come in and all she would say was, calm down. Your blood pressure is going up. Focus on your breathing, but I could not breathe. And the only thing she said was, just relax, calm down. And there was no form of communication because I couldn't speak at that time. Would have been nice if she would have brought a blank, I guess, a square, the removable markers that you write on, like a little wall or something. And maybe put, are you in pain? Are you able to breathe? go down the list and blink twice or something like that, or at least I could narrow it down to what's wrong, what's going on. And that would have made me feel more in control, or at least for them to look at it, look at my tube and see if there was a blockage. They could address it right away. And I don't know, I probably passed out. Then they stabilized me somehow, but I that was a really traumatizing part for me in my experience.
Wow. I'm so sorry, Ray. That's really tough. Thank you for sharing. That's, I know, not an easy thing to share. But thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And it speaks so much to the little things that can be done. Like you said, bringing in like a dry erase board or something like that, so that you can answer even though you have a breathing tube in. And it's the little things like that that we're looking for that make a huge, huge difference, and hopefully would make it less traumatic for the next person. And really sorry, Ray. Thank you. Anyone else have experiences to share? Be good or bad. Maria?
Yes, for me, because it's traumatic, this is something that Ray mentioned, and it's true. For me, is the feel involved in the decision making progress regarding my treatment and care. I have lack of that because the doctor didn't communicate the stage of the serious trauma that I had. Grenade explode. I almost lose my leg, but he don't explain me anything. He just say, "Oh, you're gonna have a surgery. Maybe we cut your leg or no." Like, he don't even ask me any options or how is very bad. How come? Like, I know I was in pain and everything, but I believe because it's my body, I need to know more. What is the gravity of the problem, and say, you know what, we have this option, this and this, but it's only we're gonna do this, or we're gonna cut it, or maybe we don't cut it. I'm like, okay, it's not something easy, right? We're gonna cut your leg. I mean, okay, let's see how it goes. This is the doctor. 5 doctors show up in the room and say, oh, they everything have any specialist for bones, for the neurology, for different. And I was confusing. I have a morphine for pain for a few days, maybe 2. And they just told me, oh, they're gonna be in the surgery and maybe we're gonna cut your leg.
Oh.
And my sister falls apart, crying, and I'm like, what to do? I was in shock and say, okay. And nothing, they don't give me any option. I was in panic and say, and she was fighting with the 5 doctors, and the doctors, she had the rights to know. This is the only I really appreciate the doctors did to me. They tell me how bad it can be, but at the end have to be more tactic. We are not doctors. The people, maybe we don't have a high education, but have to be more, not like a little more explanation, not the details, or maybe, each situation is different. I know it's challenging, it's emergency, they have to do it right away. But I know when it's surgery, it's an emergency, it's something they don't even have time to talk, especially with the people is injured. But at least with the family, explain a little more, even the family don't speak the language, but have someone translate, what is mean, not the specific words that no hard for human that no work in the hospital is gonna understand. The language can be more simple, but at the same, they can choose the right for the lovers.
Mhm. Thank you.
We
Maria.
are not unconscious. I have different, I have in this and that situation different places and different countries. I don't know if I'm lucky because I'm still alive and I'm still have my leg, but since this happened here as well, the same thing, like, the doctor, I have to be in conscious because he told me, I don't want you to be in coma. So he doing stuff, open my lungs, doing everything he's doing with the pain and yelling and they ask a question because they want me to be conscious, but I know what they're doing it when they say, oh, this pain in my ribs, what are you doing? What you put in hold? He don't even tell me, oh, if you have water in your lung, we need to clean it. I'm like, okay. But still they want me to at least something more. No, nothing is gonna prepare, but something can be more, okay, we're gonna do this I want we work like you do labor when you have kids, right? The doctor come and say, we're gonna do this work together, you're gonna do this, you're gonna push, and I'm gonna do this, and this is like a teamwork.
Mm.
I want you to work with that. The same thing, like, okay, your part is gonna be this, don't scare, you're gonna feel pain. I mean, don't lie, because I told him, I want you to give me morphine, give me something. I want to sleep. And he told me, no, we can't. But that difficulties, it can be more smoothly if they do more like prepare the patient, and especially the nurse as well. The nurse can tell, we're gonna do this for this reason, blah, blah, blah. So your part is gonna respond better if you do this, or because when they say, don't be nervous, you're gonna be okay. We are nervous if they say, don't be nervous. I'm already nervous, I'm there. So that's the experience that I really had. They come right away as soon as you ask for.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing so much. We appreciate any and all experiences, and again, it's not easy to share these. So thank you, Maria, for sharing your experiences. And I agree. I think that that communication should be higher, we say further upstream. So more, like you say, like more prepared as you enter. And I think you have a great point about like the plain language, and we're not doctors, and not all of us are doctors, and it's almost a different language that they speak, and if they could speak our language, that would be ideal. Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maria Vasquez.
Sí, buenas tardes. Sí.
Yes, good afternoon. My experience was about a doctor that she sent me to do dialysis because I was sick from my kidneys. I show up to the doctor because I did not feel sick, but they told me that they find blood in my urine, and I told them that I did not see the blood, and they sent me to the specialist, and he did an exam that they did not explain me what kind of exam they were gonna do. And when they do the dialysis, I didn't come with anybody. I feel very bad, and I feel that I didn't want that in my body. And to tell you the truth, that was the only time that I went over there, and that happened probably like 3 to 4 years ago. when I went back to my doctor, because she sent me to a special clinic, and when I went back to my doctor, she said that what I didn't follow her instructions and what I didn't go to the dialysis, because she recommended me to go to dialysis. And I said, doctor, instead of fix me, I think that got me worse. That because of that, I developed incontinence. And they did not explain me nothing about that exam. And I don't feel that I have nothing wrong with my kidneys. And to tell you the truth, I stopped going to that doctor. I did not went again to those labs because I had that bad experience. And until now, I haven't felt any bad for my kidneys at all. And I was very scared to trust that. And now I don't trust the doctors anymore.
Thank you, Maria. Does not sound like a great experience. I'm so sorry again. And thank you for sharing that. I think having options, like Other Maria said too, of not just having one or two options, but hopefully a list that you can choose from to better your healthcare experience the way you want to. And thank you again. This is all very, like Lindsay said, this is also helpful to us, and it would be very helpful to the research community as well. Lindsay?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, because Maria V, since we have two Marias, made a good point about like trust and building trust with your physicians and care team, nurses, anybody who's caring for you in a healthcare setting. And, you know, communication or being able to communicate effectively can help to build trust. I'm just curious from, you know, your perspective, Maria V, or anybody else, you know, what does trust building look like with your healthcare team, and how does communication come into play with, you know, the trust that you build with those that are caring for you?
Great question.
It might be a hard question too. Big one, yeah.
Yeah, I could start real quick.
Sí.
That's okay.
Go ahead, Ray.
Sí, claro que sí.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, he said it's okay. I mean, Maria said you can start, Ray. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, we can hear.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine would probably be to make sure they have like interpreters for Spanish speaking family members, because a lot of times they accompany us and they stay in our rooms overnight and go through the process of having someone there for us, overseeing surgery, post-surgery, ICU, and things of that sort. Because sometimes they, you know, if they don't totally understand English, maybe they miss a few words, they could lose themselves in the context and the important details of our care while we're there, and also our rights and what all the options are. So trust is very important. Also for the doctor or surgeons to have patience enough to sit down with our loved ones that are there at the hospital, to have enough patience to explain in detail with an interpreter to make sure everything's clear and understood. So I unfortunately don't know if that was offered to my mom, because she's primarily Spanish speaking, or they had someone there bilingual to explain everything in her native language. Even though she understands English, I don't know if her comprehension skills are that good. So I think, and once those communication is clear and everyone understands everything, that's how you, I guess, trust it develops. But if the doctors or staff aren't giving them, they're giving them short answers where the family is expecting more of a better response to understand everything in detail, more details. I think that would build trust and transparency between the doctors and the family members and the patient ultimately.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. I think that kind of goes back to what Maria A was saying too, like with the options and, you know, being transparent, saying what you're doing when you're doing it. It can, yeah, absolutely help build trust. I appreciate that. And Maria V, I think you were speaking up too.
Sí, es algo parecido a lo
Yes,
que
it's similar like what he says earlier. Is basically is that we have an interpreter, especially when the words is a different vocabulary, it's a high register English, and we're not used to that. And when the interpreter or the person that is helping us cannot say the words the right way, or on this moment, sometimes they said, I don't remember at this time, and sometimes they don't help you that much to explain you more in depth, because sometimes the short phrases what they say, and we just ended up, they ask you if I understand, and I say, yes, okay. Especially like I'm talking about myself because that happened to me many times.
Thank you, Maria. That's interesting and hard to hear. You know, you're not getting the full picture from that interpretation. Yeah, I can imagine that being really frustrating.
Does anyone else want to share or have any additional ideas or thoughts around trust and communication? All right, I think that kind of leads into the second question, and we did get into it a little bit with the experiences that have been shared so far. But have there been any barriers to communicating effectively with your care? So, I mean, we talked about language and physical, you know, having a breathing tube, a physical barrier to communicating, and plain language even. So even if you're technically speaking the same language, it's sometimes hard to understand even what physicians and are saying. Are there any other barriers that you have all experienced in communicating effectively? Ray?
Yeah, also like some doctors and staff are better than others at doing this, but putting all the medical terms and procedures into layman's terms, since most of us don't have a education in medicine and doctors, for them to, you know, getting as much details and shortening all the explanations, I mean, would be good to just simplify, so we could, family members and us, because we're learning along the way all this terminology as we go through the process. It's always good for them to keep that in mind, that not everyone has good comprehension skills, and if they could, you know, just generalize it, that'd be great.
Thank you, Ray. Yeah, I think simplifying would help so much with communicating with patients and caregivers, or yeah, patients and caregivers and the care team. So that is definitely being too complicated, having too many words we don't understand is absolutely a barrier. Thank you, Ray. Maria V. You're muted if you're talking, Maria.
Oh, lo siento, no pude bajar
I forgot to bring my hand down.
Oh.
But some other thing that I want to say is that one time, one of my kids, he got schizophrenia, and at that time, he was not able to perform his daily task at that time. Right now, it's under control, and he's doing a lot better now. But at that time, for me, it was new, and I started to learn about that schizophrenia. And when I was asking about help from the doctors, because he ended up at the hospital, so when I asked information from the doctors, they did not want to give me any information because he was an adult. And I think that sometimes that's another barrier, that when a mom takes the kids to the hospital, especially when you're the mom, that you're going to take your son or your kid, because they ask for your help, your kids, and we go with them to the hospital, and just because they're over 18, they don't want us to go inside with them to the doctor. Sometimes they don't want to give you information, and they don't want to let you in with your kids, or they don't want to let you know anything about your kids. And that's one thing that I find out in the health system during my life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think I agree with you totally. And I think mental health is something we don't always think about either when it comes to communication. What's that person's mental health like? They're not always ready to accept information, and I completely understand that. I have a similar experience as you, Maria, but as on the child side, I did end up in the hospital at, I think, almost exactly 18. And yeah, and I was out of it because I was in so much pain, and my mom was there, but they would not get answers from her for the questions that they were asking me, but I couldn't answer because I was in so much pain. But yeah, that's completely a thing that I've witnessed myself as well. So thank you for sharing that. Any other barriers? You can go ahead and move to the next question. Excuse me, was there ever a time that you felt involved in the decision-making process regarding your treatment and care? Any good experiences with that? I think that says something, doesn't it? Well, the last question, and we have talked a little bit about this, but what suggestions do you have to improve communication based on your personal experience? Do we have any additional suggestions for improving communication? I know we've talked a lot. We have said quite a few ways to improve that through language, making things more simple, and having interpreters and everything you all have discussed. And again, these are really important experiences to you all, and we so appreciate you sharing them with us. And again, if you would like to share your experiences and help bridge those gaps of communication within an intensive care unit, and you have that intensive care unit experience, we'd love to have you join us for the research community. I'm going to put that link in the chat just one more time for the interest survey. If you're interested in joining us, you are more than welcome to fill out that form. There is also an email on the top of that form. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Tess and she can get those questions answered. You're also always more than welcome to email me, which I'll put in the chat, with any questions about this project or anything else. All right. Thank you all. I did want to say happy Pride. It is the end of June, and even though the month is coming to an end, there are resources out there in LA County for LGBTQIA+ folks. So I did want to share a couple of the things that we've gotten recently passed along to us, just in case you or someone you know need these resources. So the first one is a gender affirming group. They meet Mondays from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is a brave space for trans folks to connect with one another. So it's for all gender diverse adults, and I believe it was 18 plus, who would benefit from the mutual support and having this community and having someone who understands around them and to help navigate discrimination and hostility. If you are interested in joining this group, you can reach out to Martin right here. They have a phone number with a secure and confidential voicemail. So if you call this number here, you can leave a voicemail saying that you or someone you know is interested in joining the gender affirming group. And then there is the gender affirming surgeries, a letter of support, sorry, for gender affirming surgeries. Because insurance companies, they do require a letter from a mental health care professional before all gender affirming surgeries. It's a statement of that the client is ready and available and able to give informed consent. The Hollywood Wilshire Wellness Community is offering to help those who need a letter of support. And the contact for this is the same person, Martin, and it's the same voicemail. So if you want to join that group, or if you or someone you know needs a letter of support, they can help you out with that by just calling this number here. And then we do have some additional resources that we can send you all out in the follow-up. I can send these links to you, but there's the Unique Women's Coalition for Black transgender women. We have the Access to Prevention, Advocacy, Intervention, and Treatment, the AIDS Project LA Health, and LA LGBT Center. And then for Latinx folks, we have the Bienestar and the Latino Equality Alliance and Me Centro. So those are just some resources that we wanted to share with you all, since Pride Month is coming to an end, and it's not something that that we want to go without acknowledging and sharing the resources that we have. And again, these will all go up in follow-up, so you can get that phone number and the links to these resources. And that is it. Thank you all for joining us today. Our next meeting is July 24th, 3:30 to 4:30. So same time, same place, same Zoom link. And we will see you all in the next meeting. I'll give you all 4 minutes back in your day. I'll also stay on for a few moments if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank